Show me the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, if you'll turn your attention to the following text. First,
which is the truth,
second,
which is bear all firm,
third,
with the will that representatives,
fourth,
with the will is all concerned.
number five.
It is done.
A couple of announcements. One, please keep Melvin and his family in your prayers. His wife Lisa is at Emory St. Louis Hospital, Atlanta. She had complications with her gallbladder and became septic, so she's on all kinds of. Lisa Usry. Is there any other prayer requests I can pass on? Okay, Andy Martin is going to take the July 16th meeting. I'm going to go visit my grandchildren. And then on July 23rd, we'll have the official officer changeover. Any other announcements? Okay, well, if there's not any other announcements, we were going to have a teacher day, but the teacher did not show up. So we're going to do a video from the Rotary.
This session is part of the Speakers Breakout Program of Rotary's first ever virtual convention. My name is Michelle Latham, and I'm a member of the Rotary staff team. Original stage and breakout host for this session. Please note that this session is being recorded. You can protect your identity by limiting your participation if you choose. Because of how many people we have on our webinar today, attendees will not have the ability to turn their camera or their audio on. The recording of this session will be posted on riconventions.org about 48 hours after the session. If you would like to access interpretation in your language for this session, you can click on the globe in your meeting controls located at the bottom of your desktop or app screen. You'll be able to select your language from there. If you need Italian simultaneous interpretation, you'll need to exit the Zoom platform and re-enter using the Interpretize link. Make sure that your My Rotary language is set to Italian, and then navigate to the breakout registration on riconventions.org. If you select interpretation, you still will hear the speaker statement breakout-out.
Comments in the discussion. It's fantastic to see so many people from around the world really showing the international reach of Rotary. But I do want to give the caveat that in reading this presentation, I am from the U.S., so it will be more, it will have a U.S. perspective because that's my perspective. But I want to acknowledge that that is hopefully we'll still be able to provide context for the work that's being done around the world in alumni engagement. So one of the questions that generally always comes up at the beginning of any discussion about Rotary alumni is, what exactly are Rotary alumni? One off the top of the question is Rotary alumni are not people who previously were Rotarians. So somebody who was a Rotarian in your club who left Rotary, they're not under definition of Rotary and Rotary Foundation definition of alumni. But you'll see on the screen a list of the Rotary programs where if anybody who has participated in these programs, they are considered an alumni. You will note, and Mike from Rotary will talk a little bit later about Rotaract, but Rotaract is a program that is considered once you age out of Rotary, you are considered a Rotary alumni. Even while it's critical to recognize the importance and the great job Rotary International has done over the past few years to elevate the recognition of Rotary internally within our Rotary office. So you may be asking, that's great. So there are a lot of programs where once you participate, you are alumni. But how many alumni are there? And I would love it in the chat feature, not the Q&A, but in the chat feature, if you are an alumni of one of these programs, feel free to just pop it in there what program you were a member of. As I mentioned, I was an ambassadorial scholar. One of the 500,000 plus strong verified Rotary alumni that are out there. And you'll see on this list some things that I did that are not in the previous slide. GRSP, for instance, is a very specific localized group. You may have a scholarship that your club offers. For your purposes at the club level, you can consider them alumni, etc. But they are part of Rotary Scholarship. There's a long list of what those are. But now that we know there are 500,000 people who are alumni of Rotary programs, what is the impact of that? I kind of shared earlier, it was a life-changing experience for me. But really, when putting the presentation together, I came up with 4 key areas where I see true impact and lasting impact of Rotary programs. They all provide an international understanding and a connection to a global network. They provide personal and professional development, long-lasting relationships, and they really instill a service above self mindset. As I mentioned at the very beginning, I wish that we were together in Hawaii behind us, but because we were together virtually, this also allowed me the opportunity to reach out to a few alumni from the network that I was able to build during my participation as an alumni scholar. So I asked some fellow alumni what they got from their program. To really kind of share that impact so we can build our mindset around who these alumni are, who this audience of 500,000 is. This individual really called out the fact that Rotary provides an opportunity for many of these programs to really travel, to get an understanding of another culture and really broaden the lens through which we see the world and understand the world. Another person who was a Rotary Youth Exchange student discussed that aspect as well. Having grown up in a small town, I myself grew up in a small town in East Texas. Having the opportunity to go internationally really kind of breaks you out of that mentality that you have sometimes growing up in a small town. And it's also a confidence building, a very identity building experience for people who participate in Rotary programs. This person who provided this quote was an ambassadorial scholar as well. And I echo that there was not inward defining experience in my 20s and my experience as a scholar. And it also really builds capacity to understand the impact of volunteering, the understanding of service and how we can make a difference in our local community. And obviously, joining a network of people, people with vision, people with action. So with that, I know that there's a lot of comments going on. There's a lot of Q&A. I was going to ask Mike from Rotary if there are any questions pertaining to the initial data that we presented, the context around who Rotary alumni are, before we jump more into some more concrete strategies of how we can engage Rotary alumni. So Mike, is there anything there that we can talk about?
Hi, Kyle. There are lots and lots of questions, and thank you to everyone who is asking all of these questions. We certainly appreciate it. Several people have asked, are former Rotarians considered alumni? And the answer is no, they are not considered alumni. Alumni is specifically people who participated in the programs that Kyle mentioned. And this is certainly not to say that we are trying to suggest that you should not engage with former Rotarians from a membership development perspective. You should. Rotary tends to think of alumni, however, as slightly different from former Rotarians. Alumni are people who have participated in these programs, but have generally not yet joined Rotary. And so there are a lot of opportunities to engage alumni and to engage them in different ways from former Rotarians. So I think that it's important to really keep everyone engaged in Rotary activities, but to think of alumni as people who have participated in these, in many cases, in most cases, I think, life-changing experiences of being part of Rotary. And that they may approach their attitude toward Rotary differently from how a former Rotarian might approach it. And so your approach to them might be different from what it would be to a former Rotarian.
That's a great distinction.
I think that there have been a lot of questions about the definitions from alumni, and you can also find these on Rotary's website. There is a alumni page on the website, and the complete list of alumni is there. You can always write to, and we'll say this multiple times, write to alumni@rotary.org, and we are happy to answer your questions in great detail.
Perfect. Thanks, Mike. And just to reiterate, we are tracking the questions that are being answered, and if we don't get to them, we are coming up with a way to provide answers to the questions that are put into the presentation. So with that, as we move through the conversation, part of what we want to focus on today is of that group of Rotary alumni, as defined. How do we engage those individuals? And also, how are they already engaging with Rotary? In conversations that I've had with both at club level, district level, etc., I think we really need to start to change our mindset about alumni. And part of that really means that we really need to define what we want from alumni. So that could be deciding that we just want to invest in individuals to ensure that we are growing a network of people around the world that have a service mindset and international understanding. We also may decide for some areas that we may just want to invest in individuals to have a great one-off experience. However, I think that what we'll probably find if we really evaluate what we want from alumni is that this is a very large group of individuals who can really be built into champions for Rotary. So as we think through our focus on broadening public awareness of what Rotary is in our local communities and internationally, this group of individuals, speaking as an alumni, Rotary is taking the time to invest in us. And we have a great experience. So we should be tapping into that to share those experiences to build awareness of our reach as an organization. And obviously, this is a great group from which to recruit to eventually become Rotarians. And there is a caveat to the statistic that is included on this slide. This is based on current Rotary International data. And Rotary International data on alumni is dependent on the programs being submitted from districts, et cetera, et cetera. It is not 100% accurate, but it is 100% accurate for the data that we currently have. And that data shows that around 3.5% of alumni become Rotarians. So the inverse of that, obviously, is that 96.5% don't. And I think that we can begin to change that number if we try to have an investment mindset about Rotary alumni and Rotary programs. So this is we understand the investment from the Rotary Foundation, right? That the money that we donate to the Rotary Foundation is in what is used to grants 3 years later. I believe that if we start to look at our Rotary programs where we invest in individuals and invest in people, we should start to think about what the return on that investment could be 3, 5 to 10 years later. And I like to say, in the U.S., they say that the average return on investment in the U.S. stock market is 7%. So I think that we should at least, as an organization, as individuals working with alumni, we should aim to engage and see a return from our alumni, at least matching that. But critically, as we begin to think through that investment mindset, is to understand that engaging alumni does not start once someone becomes an alumni. It was thrilling to see several people in the chat at the beginning as we were waiting to start. People saying they were in Interact, they were in Rotaract. Seeing people post that they, the programs that they've been a part of as Rotary alumni. And I can echo this, and I feel like every one of those individuals can echo it as well, but our experience with Rotarians during those programs and our experience applying for, during, and immediately after, that all is engagement. So that entire period is an investment period where we are growing. What will eventually happen with those alumni? If you have a bad experience, for instance, through the application process, through interview processes, or a bad experience, which is, we need to acknowledge that it does happen, during your program with Rotary or Rotary where you are, that may shift whether or not those alumni will be engaged or not. But part of that is I want to talk about barriers and engagement strategies. And I am going to ask you to let me be self-indulgent for a minute. I was telling you why I personally joined Rotary. My club was fortunate to be featured in the Rotarian back in December of last year. And one of the quotes that I said was, I joined because Rotary had invested in me, but I stayed because I liked the people. So I think that kind of goes back to underscore, it's one thing to get alumni to join or to engage, but it's another to get that audience to stay engaged. So why don't alumni join Rotary? I think that is important for us, and I'm not sure if you're on this chat and you are the alumni chair or you are part of an alumni group in your district, feel free to pop that in there. We want to see who's involved in that way. But one of the things we need to think about is why alumni don't join Rotary. That 96.5%, why haven't they continued to be involved with Rotary as Rotarians? Some may be involved in different ways, but that is the easiest way to track that engagement. And I think that is most easily boiled down to what I'm calling the 4F. Flexibility. So that could be, if we recognize that many of the alumni from these programs are younger professionals, that could be flexibility in family obligations. It could be flexibility in jobs, not being able to join Rotary to make commitments that are necessary as Rotarians. Frustration is another one that came up, and that could be around not being able to find information about Rotary in an area that you live in, frustration about interactions with Rotary after your program. Finances, I feel, is an obvious one, but the cost of Rotary can be prohibitive for a lot of individuals, and I think that is a broader discussion that's taking place in Rotary schools, but especially relevant to younger audiences that are coming out of these Rotary programs. And then finally, fit. Sometimes it's just not a fit, either for your life at the time, or you're not able to find a club that is a fit for you. And that is not to take anything away from any Rotary club. The great thing about Rotary is that it's so unique. But sometimes we need to recognize that our personal club personality may not be a fit for every person. So I also asked alumni about this topic, and that's where those 4Fs came from. And I want to share these next slides. Some people are a little pointed in their commentary about their experience, the alumni experience with Rotary after their program. But I do think it's important that we recognize and we realize the reality that a lot of alumni face after their program. It should be noted that a lot of alumni do engage with Rotary after their program. This individual, for instance, was pursuing a scholarship and actually helped start a new Rotary club for young professionals. So that should also get us thinking, if we are on membership committees, of how we can utilize this network of young Rotarians, fans of Rotary, coming back to wherever they live, or to wherever they move to, using as a way to maybe either start a new club for young professionals or how they can get fit to the clubs that are in our district. But unfortunately, as you can see, and this was a theme among several respondents to the questions that I came out to some alumni, the flexibility of their job did not allow them to stay involved with Rotary. Another person said that once they got back, they started looking for a club, but they were often very well established, very self-contained, and as somebody who was newly moved into a city, found it pretty tough to break into that kind of that very contained, cliquish nature that some clubs, all of us, feel guilty of falling into. And I think that's something that's important to think through. The end of this comment about younger generations sometimes move around a lot. So if you're part of Rotaract in college, you may be moving to a completely new city. Young in your career, you may have to move multiple times to get established. So that can also be a hindrance, and that provides that flexibility as well. Another individual said that described their experience, and this is one I think we should pay attention to, is the feasibility with their job schedule. So not just that feasibility and flexibility that we talked about, but also that frustration that this person found. They found a club that was the right fit for them, they thought, in terms of their schedule, where it was located in their city. But when they reached out, they felt frustration because the club secretary told them that they were only targeting CEOs of companies and that they weren't a fit. Which, again, every club is different and has their membership requirements, their process to become a member. But it's also important to keep in mind that that experience tainted this individual's view of Rotary. They are still currently not a Rotarian because of this, what they call beliefism, that they found frustrating. And another thing to think through this can help us think through how we are engaging alumni, especially those who are involved at much younger ages. So Ryla, Interact, Strong, and Rotaract. But when this individual finished their youth exchange at 17, they were obviously too young for Rotary clubs. So they started an Interact club, which I think is a beginning for us to look at alumni and our programs that we offer as a funnel to keep moving people through the process to eventually, hopefully, becoming Rotarians. This individual then found that after college, there weren't Rotaract clubs near them, but they still felt they were too young for a Rotary club. So they just kind of floated through a bit until eventually they felt they were mature enough to join a local Rotary club. And then obviously, finances. Finances can be a very big barrier for alumni. One thing that I have heard of some clubs doing, and this is anecdotal, but is offering kind of a special membership level for alumni, waiving some requirements for alumni. I think that that's something that clubs can and should look into. If an individual has been worthy of investment and from a Rotary perspective, are there hurdles that can be moved out of the way to get them to join Rotary? And then again, somebody who moved a lot with their job, had joined Rotary, but then once they moved around, they found that they couldn't find a club that was a fit. But once they moved back to their club, their hometown, the club had changed so much that they weren't a fit for that anymore as well.
We're going to stop there just to talk about a few of these things. Get my screen stop sharing. So Rotary International has a big push right now for membership. And one way, we have Jennifer working on regular members, but another way we could do it would be to start looking at some of the alumni, the ones that have been in Rotary that may have moved to our area, or some of these other groups. And so, what do you think?
Do we have a process to reach out to the alumni, maybe the scholarship?
We haven't done that.
Yeah, because I would think that would be cool to reach out, maybe invite them back once a year, something like that.
How difficult is it to find alumni, not just scholarships, exchange students?
I have no idea.
My suspicion would be because just what he said about how hard it is to do the full stack.
Right.
That's a core part of the problem is if there's no database of those and no way for us to find ones that might have moved.
Let me just speak up here. Can you hear me? There is a way to go into DB and do a query. Now, it's very limited. It means that somebody would have had to have kept them active in that database. But some years ago at a district level conference, we had a speaker who spoke about how there were ways to tap in and find out where they've tracked some of these people. That doesn't mean that it's necessarily a very large database, but we could see who's out there. Maybe somebody who's going to college, who was part of an Rotaract, someplace else.
Sounds good. Thank you. So maybe what we need to do is put together a little task force to start looking into ways we could find alumni in our area that could join our club.
They start just out.
Well, it's a very low percentage that go to a club, so I think you have to them.
Do we have an age requirement for our club? I know they mentioned some clubs had an age requirement and invitation only.
Yeah, we're not invitation only.
I know I've been told in the past several years back, a question, how do you join Rotary? And I have been told it was invitation only, so there may be that perception out there in the community.
Just in fact, we have to have a number of bringing in. I mean, we've never in the past, I don't think we've ever said that we look at CEOs only, so we can make our president about, as long as you a good character, you were at the club, and as long as you find somebody
That brings up a good point though, because if someone new to the community comes in, they don't know it. So how are they going to find a member to sponsor them? Seems like we may need a way to make it more inviting. Not saying that we don't eventually, when they come in, we don't have someone that kind of takes them under the wing and becomes a sponsor and a mentor, but some way to let it be known in the community that we want everyone, everyone's welcome to the club, and if you don't know someone, come to I think we've even had some meetings in the past to get to know Rotary.
Well, we have a kind of inside scoop on that as far as chamber of usually most business owners or whatever they come to town, that's kind of the first spot. So hopefully we can make that a part of that community. Anytime we do business, somebody comes in and do that member or in our office, remember a new business coming to town. Somebody from Rotary needs to be knocking on the door and wanting to kind of tell them about Rotary and see if they can, like, But I know what you mean. If you come to town and know anybody when you start.
Right. Unfortunately, not everybody knows to go to the chamber either.
Yeah.
I don't
know what.
Not saying I got an answer for it. Just
To me, doesn't know it. It's something that's got to be ongoing. I can't say one time we all have to recognize we all have access to different people. And if you recognize somebody that you think would be
locally, you know, just ask them, hey, Rotary, I mean, a lot of people go into that. A lot of people, young people know nothing about Rotary, that knows. Right now, they're just not involved. So, I think we have to start looking at things, community looking at, and who's in our community who has a good area, whether they've been here for 10 years or 20 years. Dr. Newton is going to let's go after this, make a list. Dr. Price, I think people are explaining the ad. Because it is, everywhere I've always been, if I own a club, it's a perception out.
You got industry here that nobody's
Nobody that's what they do, that we got all around proactive. Preaching people who make different areas.
I grew up at Rotary, and I'm really amazed that people that don't know what Rotary is. I never heard of it. That outfit's amazing. It's part of our family that was.
I would imagine most of the people, most of the people, they could be in.
You need a big social media presence with the young people. So, we want to all make you look good.
Yeah, I was first saying about, it's not all of it, it's correct, we're not profit, I'm always going to work, but I can try to fundraise, I can try to recruit. All these go out and recruit the first one as well. So, that's one, all of us, regions, to bring in new members, and we are doing all, you'll remember, when Angie started her term last year, she gave us all a survey and asked us what we thought we needed for the council for membership, and the two requests for corporate membership and professional. And so last month I put a proposal forward and got feedback, and I was speaking and making other proposals from words about it. But I was lost up in feedback if anyone was here to find you.
Right now, we don't, because of COVID, we're kind of waiting. But we'll talk, that's something you're already talk about. Maybe some better alternatives.
Well, it is easier to make them up. And maybe what you start doing, they need something to be perfect. There's a lot of people that can't make it work. I mean, because I don't know. That's what got it. The other thing, I think that's me, I can see this.
I don't plan on continuing this.
Yeah, we've talked about that, and there are a lot of members who are these very honorary members because they can't make it. This is an option. You know, it doesn't matter where you're living, you still going into the club if you have to move away. So,
If they're not technological, check.
Well, I put them in YouTube, so they should be able to do it. If I click on the link. All right, anybody else? All right, any announcements? Then we are adjourned. Have a good week.